Tonight, authorities watching on as the region continues to swelter. And Port Augusta welcomes this year's intake of junior doctors.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. First tonight, fire services say they will be keeping an eye on the Eyre Peninsula as temperatures continue to soar. Port Lincoln locals have also been praised for their response to last week's incident. Alison Hall has more.
Port Lincoln residents are being praised for how they jumped into action during last week's bushfire on the edge of the city. The CFS have expressed gratitude to the community for their quick response to the incident. They say early efforts from local residents were vital in helping authorities extinguish the flames.
What we were really pleased was that people listened to the warning. So that's where I guess our work works best, is where the community and our firefighters work together.
As the Eyre Peninsula heats up, the CFS is urging people to be careful, with the fire danger expected to be elevated across the state throughout the week.
We anticipate, particularly from Thursday afternoon into Friday morning, the weather system impacting across the west coast and along the peninsula. And then it will move, as these things do, move across the state throughout the afternoon.
The inferno that ravaged the outskirts of Port Lincoln only days ago, serving as a harsh reminder for people in bushfire-prone areas to be prepared and ready to leave if necessary. The CFS are encouraging everyone to do a 5-minute bushfire plan.
So what we would say to people is, any time during these elevated fire danger, have a plan. We've got a 5-minute bushfire plan you can do on the CFS website, and that's what we'd encourage people to do.
For more details on how to be bushfire ready, head to the CFS website.
4 teenagers have been arrested in Whyalla after a break-in on Saturday. Police say they were called to Mar Vista Crescent after receiving reports a group of youths were trying to steal a car from a house. The group ran off but were caught a short time later by police. 2 16-year-old boys and 2 15-year-old boys were charged with numerous offences. The 16-year-olds were bailed to appear in court at a later date. The 15-year-olds have been refused bail. As the state government struggles to keep medical staff numbers healthy in regional areas, there may be signs of hope. Several medical students have begun their year-long stay in Port Augusta as part of their training, and some have already fallen for the city.
These 50-year medical students have come from across South Australia and the Northern Territory to call Port Augusta home for 2023. As part of the University of Adelaide's Rural Clinical School, the students are learning hands-on experience and procedures at Port Augusta Hospital.
Work in the hospital, like in the paediatrics ward and delivering babies, and working in the general medical ward, and they'll work with general practitioners and with the RFDS.
The students were welcomed at the Yacht Club in a formal ceremony and already feel welcome in the Spencer Gulf.
It's been quite an experience so far. You know, we've kind of uprooted our lives a little bit to come here, but it's been such a good experience so far getting settled in.
And there's a stark difference in working and learning in Port Augusta than at a place like the Royal Adelaide Hospital.
We're definitely way more involved in the community. We've got those opportunities in the hospital to get involved with the hospital teams, but we've also got the opportunity to, join the sporting teams and things and actually get integrated into the community. So we actually get a much sort of deeper, more meaningful learning opportunity than we ever do in the city.
With regional communities struggling to keep doctors for long term, the program has proven vital in saving services.
We have a much higher rate of people becoming interested in rural medicine and then contributing to the rural workforce. So 20% of the medical students that go through a program like this and then graduate are currently working in rural Australia as a doctor.
Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
South Australia's primary industry sector is continuing to grow, despite challenging economic and weather conditions. The primary industry scorecard shows revenue grew beyond $17 billion in the 2021-2022 financial year, up by 12%. Crops and livestock led the way, with revenues in those areas up 23% to $5.6 billion. Primary Industry Minister Claire Scriven says despite global supply chain issues, the results show the sector remains resilient. Still to come tonight, applications open for a new round of grants in Broken Hill, and Port Lincoln's newest place to play almost ready for use. Welcome back. Time is running out for people to get in their application for Foundation Broken Hill's Skillshare grant. The money helps school leavers and university students pay for courses that will give them skills for future employment.
Investing today to help give tomorrow's employees the training they need. Foundation Broken Hill upping the amount each successful applicant of its Skillshares training grant will receive.
This year we've doubled our grant funds to $10,000 in total. So we will have 10 applicants, hopefully 10 successful applicants, for $1,000 each applicant.
The program starting a decade ago when the Skillshare Centre closed down. Those who worked at the centre still wanted the people of Broken Hill to get the skills needed for their current or new careers. Foundation Broken Hill coming to the rescue.
They wanted to continue at least putting something back into the community, so they gifted all their assets to the foundation, and from there we were able to continue a small program around a training grant.
The grant isn't only for school leavers. Mature age university students or those wanting to do a traineeship are also eligible for support.
Whether it be a mature person who's undertaking an existing traineeship maybe to change their skills, or maybe it's a school leaver looking to do an apprenticeship, or maybe it's also someone going off to tertiary education. We're happy for an application from anybody.
The team at Foundation Broken Hill also available to help with the process.
The foundation is more than happy to help people come and fill the application out, drop into the office or give us a call and we'll go through it.
Those interested have until Friday to apply. Joshua Mercer, 7, Spencer Gulf News.
Broken Hill's Theatre 44 has received a funding boost. The group was able to secure more than $190,000 through the Stronger Communities Fund, with help from Regional Development Australia.
Michael Williams from Regional Development asked us if we'd like to put in an application for a grant, and we did that, and he's done a marvellous job.
The money will go a long way to fixing the dated theatre.
Over the last 6 years, it's sort of gone downhill, and it's outdated, all our equipment. Yeah, it'd be lovely to have the new equipment.
The group also inviting community members to its AGM this Sunday at 6 p.m. A new inclusive play space on Port Lincoln's foreshore will become the ultimate family destination. Its new features are aimed at encouraging social interaction and active participation, with Council hoping it will become a hub for fun.
If you've been on the Port Lincoln foreshore recently, you'd have seen the work being done to create a new play space. Months of hard work are now drawing to a close, with the new area due to open next month.
It's been a little while coming, and I know the community has been patiently waiting for the arrival of the play space to come and check it out. So we're excited to be able to do that in March.
Boasting new pedestrian access, in-ground trampolines, a water play area, covered seating, a half basketball court and a garden, many people can't wait to see the new addition to the foreshore. The features having aimed at being welcoming to all, with the Mayor saying inclusion is a primary focus.
So we've got a very diverse population, so this park and play space will actually provide for something for everyone, all abilities to be able to enjoy.
While some are most looking forward to shooting hoops or turning on the barbecue, the Mayor is excited about something else.
I think the favourite thing for me will be to see the joy on the faces of the new little families enjoying that space. For me, that will be a real godsend.
The future of the old equipment has also been decided. Council discussed what to do with it at its monthly meeting last night, after a community petition called for it to be saved. Elected members eventually voted to have the old playground disassembled and relocated to other parks around Port Lincoln. Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. A tough year predicted for the building industry, with housing construction predicted to fall. And Quorn almost ready to rock the ranges. You're watching 7 Spencer Gulf News. The Housing Industry Association is preparing for a slump in the amount of new builds. Its latest outlook says new constructions are falling to their lowest level since 2012. The number of builds across the country is expected to drop below 100,000 by 2024. Higher interest rates cited as the major factor, with the outlook warning it could stall growth in the industry. The association's chief economist Tim Reardon also calling for first home buyers to have easier access to a mortgage. The Rock the Ranges Music Festival is just 3 days away, and organisers say the show is selling out fast. The two-day event has been at the mercy of poor weather and a change in venue, but everything is now falling into place.
The stage is being set at Quorn Oval for the biggest Rock the Ranges concert so far. John Simpson says more than 1,500 people are expected to enter the gates for 2 days of music and entertainment.
It's pretty exciting, I've got to say, to finally get this show on the road and get such an amazing band into Quorn. And the weather's looking good for us, which I'm happy about. Like, it's not going to be a scorcher that we were worried about.
The big draw card is Perth's Birds of Tokyo, with the ARIA Award winners performing live on Saturday night.
We should be really privileged that they've actually said yes to come and play to such a small crowd. They're normally big stadiums. So it's a huge coup to bring them into the Flinders Ranges.
Quorn is expected to be packed as thousands of visitors descend on the region, and with the festival now being held in town, the boost to the local economy is expected to be significant.
Been booked out for months already with accommodation, so anyone that sells food, fuel is going to do really well. And a lot of people normally stay like a day or two after, especially if they've travelled from a long way.
Gates open on Friday at 5:30 p.m. and 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. And if you're thinking of making a last-minute trip to the show, there are very limited tickets still available.
We want to make sure everybody come and support them, yell and scream and wave and have a big bloody time of it. It'll be good.
The Rangers will be rocking. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Just like the weather, sports across the region are starting to heat up. With finals just around the corner, the question is who will be there on the big day? Joshua Mercer has this week's sports wrap.
Cricket isn't the only sport where the North Bulldogs are excelling at the moment, as the basketball team had a win over the Outlaws. Since coming back from the Christmas break, the Bulldogs have 2 wins and a draw. Their win over the Outlaws saw Logan Ferguson score 17 points. Ferguson is currently averaging 16.5 points a game. Second behind Ramjet's Jordan Holmes. Shane Dalby also helped in the win, scoring 13 points. Vicente Sanchez was the Outlaws' standout player, scoring 11 points. In the other game, the Raptors were too good for the Sumpton boys, winning 64-52. Sam Sutcliffe led the way for the Raptors in the win, while he was supported by Justin Broke, scoring 14. Dustin Stevens led the way for the Sumpton boys, scoring 24 points in the loss. In Port Augusta basketball, the Titans had a big win over the Cobras, 61-25. Billy Joe Russell topped the Titans scoring list with 16, while Connor Butler also hit double figures in the win with 12 points. Titans are still top of the ladder with 12 wins and only 2 losses. In the other game, Eagles defeated the Wildcats 74-42. Cameron Benbow scored 24 for the Eagles, while Brady Corbett scored 20. Cooper Promnitz was the best in the losing side, scoring 19 points. Changing over to softball now, and in Port Lincoln A grade, Squaws have booked a spot in the grand final, beating the Roadrunners 10-3. Squaws' Ella Simpson was the standout in the win, along with Anna Tawano, Ella Blewett and Jacinta Packer, while Keisha Judge and Tessa Rusden the roadies best. In Port Pirie, Tigers defeated the Checkmates 9-4. Pitcher Mackenzie Hunt controlled the mound, finishing with 5 K2s and 2 safe hits. Checkmates Meta DiGeronimo put in a great performance in a losing side, with some strong batting and aggressive base running. In the other A1 game, the Solo Cats scored a win over the Cougars 7-5. Erin Martin had a great game in the outfield for the Solo Cats, with some great catches, and her 3-bag hit helped her team get the win. Shikani Warren pitched strongly for the Cougars, filling in for Ann Russick, who was playing shortstop. Finishing off the sports wrap today with Whyalla 8-ball, Old Firm beat the Senators 5-4. Lions Gold down Whyalla City 5-4. Steel Green had a win over Croatia CC's 5-4. Top of the table Shamrocks were far too strong for Crossfire, winning 8-1. and Croatia Red beat the City Slickers 6-3. That's it for this week's Sports Wrap. If you'd like your team to be featured on our bulletin, contact us through our Facebook page.
Stay with us after the break. We check the region's fuel prices and we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Hello again. Time now for a look at what you can expect to pay at the pump across the region when you fill up your car this week. Here's Daniel Pizarro with this week's earlier than usual edition of Fuel Watch.
It's been a relatively good week for drivers, with green arrows and only small increases for petrol prices across the Spencer Gulf and Broken Hill. Starting with unleaded, and as you can see, prices are down in most parts. Port Lincoln has dropped by around 1 cent per litre to $1.80. Whyalla residents are paying a little less compared to last week. Not as good news for Port Augusta and Port Pirie motorists. Their prices went up slightly. Broken Hills also rose. Residents can expect to pay $1.85.6 on average this week. Kadeena's dropped by the bare minimum and is the region's cheapest. And Adelaide's price cycle has continued, down by 18 cents this week. Turning our attention to diesel, and it's better news for drivers, with green everywhere this week. Port Lincoln dropped by 1 cent. Whyalla and Port Augusta recorded similar decreases. Port Pirie was down by 2 cents. Kadeena's average price fell to around $1.97. And if you're in Broken Hill, you can expect to pay just over $2.03. And Adelaide's prices are down by 7 cents. Finally to Autogas, and the news is mixed depending on where you live. Port Lincoln and Whyalla's prices didn't move an inch compared to last week. Prices were up, however, in Port Pirie, Kadena and Broken Hill. And Adelaide drivers are back to paying less than $1 per litre. Now, these prices are the regional average and do not reflect one particular outlet. And if you see a cheaper price, let us know on our Facebook page.
To the weather now, and it was a sweltering day in our region as this late summer heat wave continues. Alex Sykes joins us now with all the details. Alex, it was another day for staying indoors.
It certainly was, John. Temperatures continue to rise across the Spencer Gulf. The day also a blustery one. Cummins Airport recording a gust of 56 kilometres an hour, detected just before 11:30 this morning. Neptune Island doing one better with a speed of 63 kilometres recorded early this morning. Port Lincoln provided respite from the heat, reaching just 27 today. Broken Hill was 39 and sunny. Cooper Pedy, the region's warmest, hitting 42 degrees. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, Woodner also got to 42, Port Augusta and Port Pirie reached 41, Whyalla and Adelaide both hit 37 degrees, Broken Hill was 39. Taking a look at the satellite image now, and a high jet stream cloud over the south of the state is not bringing any rain. Clearer skies across most of the state with a hot and dry air mass. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southerly winds 15 to 25 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and the swell is south to southwesterly, reaching a metre. Meanwhile, heatwave warnings remain in place across all districts in our region. Port Lincoln will start to heat up tomorrow, set to reach a high of 36 degrees there. Cleve partly cloudy and 41, and Woodner residents can expect 43 and a mostly sunny day. Moving further north now, it'll be hot and sunny in the upper Spencer Gulf. Whyalla the coolest, if you can call it that. In that area, the Steel City set to hit 38 tomorrow. More of the same for Port Augusta, 42 expected there, and Kadena is looking at a top of 39 degrees. Port Pirie partly cloudy and 42 tomorrow. Clare partly cloudy and set to reach a high of 38 degrees, and Broken Hill will be sunny and also 38. Taking a look further through the week now, and Thursday will be sweltering. Even Port Lincoln won't escape it. They can expect 40 degrees, Whyalla 41, Cooper Pedy and Port Pirie both looking at 42, Woodner will be 43, Broken Hill is looking at a relatively cool 37 degrees. Similar conditions to end the working week on Friday. Adelaide and Kadina both 39. Port Pirie and Port Augusta both looking at 42. Showers in Woodner and Port Lincoln. And hallelujah, the cool change will take effect by Saturday. Temperatures dropping back to more palatable numbers. Showers in most areas, mostly sunny and 31 in Cooper Pedy, 32 in Broken Hill. And if you're heading to the Fringe Festival in Adelaide, take a jacket, 24 and a shower or two expected there. So, John, relief is in sight, but there's still a few more nasty days to get through. I'll see you a little later with an update, but back to you for now.
A few more difficult days ahead there. Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. On behalf of the entire team, good night.